Okay, people, let's try to determine the coordinate of D. Being told that A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. So this is easy, guys. You do not have to stress yourself, okay? So this is what you need to do whenever you have a question like this one. So you are going to say x1 plus x2 is equals to x3 plus x4. So make sure that whenever your x1 it's this x, it means your x2 must be at A, okay? And then your x3, it can be B or C. But make sure that if your x3 is B, it means x4 must be at C, okay? I hope you understand what I was trying to deliver in this case. So my x1 now it's x. It's x plus my x2, it's negative 1. So you're going to say minus 1. It is equals to your x3, our x3 in this case, it can be this 3 at B, 3 plus my x4, it's 1 there. So basically this point C here, it lies in the fourth quadrant. As you can see, it lies in the fourth quadrant. So it's basically 1 and what, and negative 2 there. So now you can say x positive times negative is negative 1 equals to 3 plus 1, it's 4, okay? So you can now make x the subject. X, it is equals to 4, and this negative 1 will move to the right hand side, and then now it will be a positive value because here it was negative, so it will be plus 1, which is equals to 5, okay? So now let's try to look for y. The very same thing applies to y, right? I believe that you guys you understood very well that whenever you have x1 plus x2, you know what to do, and x3 plus x4, right? So let's try. Here we got positive 5, right? This positive 5. So let's try for y. Our y, it will be y1 plus y2, it is equals to y3 plus y4. The very same thing applies to y, right? So if this is your y1, it means your y2 must be at A. So y plus our y2 it's plus 5 equals to y3, it can be C, it can be C, or it can be B. Actually, it can be at C or at B. So in this case, my y3, it's at B, and this will be 2 plus my y4, it's open bracket minus 2 here. Okay, so now you can say this is y plus 5, which is equals to positive times negative, it's negative, right? So 2 minus 2 is 0. So you have y plus 5, which is equals to 0, and then you take 5 to the right hand side, and then you remain with y, which is equals to 0 minus 5, which is equals to negative 5. It means our y here is negative 5. Okay, so now if ever you want to prove that x it's 5, y is negative 5, you can firstly determine the midpoint of this line here, not the midpoint, the midpoint of the line BC, okay? And then after determining the midpoint of the line BC, you are also going to determine the midpoint from A to D, okay? And then you determine the midpoint here, And then you also determine the midpoint of AD. So the midpoint of AD in this case, we know that it will be x minus 1 divided by 2 and y plus 5 divided by 2. Okay, it's for AD. But for BC, you know that this will be 3 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 2. And then for this one, it will be 2 minus 2 divided by 2, which is 0. So whenever you equate the midpoint of BC, which is equals to the midpoint of AD, now you can just substitute what you have, right? You know that this will be 2 and 0. And then here it will be x minus 1 divided by 2 and y plus 5 divided by 2, okay? And then from this part here, you know that x should be equals to the x value. So x minus 1 divided by 2, it is equals to 2. And then you solve for x, okay? So whenever you're solving for x, 2 times 2, or let me start with x minus 1 times 1 is x minus 1 is equals to 2 times 2, it's 4. So you take negative 1 to the other side, and x will be equals to 4 plus 1, which is equals to 5. So this is the 5 that we spoke about earlier on. The very same thing applies to y. It's y plus 5 divided by 2, which is equals to 0, okay? So now you can solve for y by doing the cross multiplication. Y plus 5 times 1, it's y plus 5 equals to 0 times 2, it's 0. So y, it will be equals to 0 minus 5. We took positive 5 to the other side, and it became negative 5, right? So now we're having what? Negative 5. So here it's a negative 5. So that's how you can determine the coordinates of D. Yes, easier. This is very easy, guys. You do not have to stress yourself. Just do the shortcut if possible.